1 in 4 Americans aged 65 to 74 will still be working in the 2030s. Not by choice, but because they can't afford to stop. I want you to picture this. The alarm goes off at 6:45 a.m. and instead of planning a trip you've dreamed about for decades, you're lacing up for a shift. Mortgage not paid off, cards rolling interest, tuition still haunting the bank account. Millions are quietly living this. This isn't about laziness or lattes, it's about a system that rewards debt and punishes delay. If you don't see how it works, your golden years can turn into barcode years. How did the American dream get rewired into a debt machine? Let's rewind. What if the American dream didn't break? It evolved into something that quietly pulls you under. For decades, we were told, work hard, live within your means, retire at 65. But wages flattened while the big three costs, housing, education, and healthcare, ballooned. The math stopped working in the background, and most people didn't notice until the bill arrived. Take one couple, for example, Dave and Linda, who did everything right. Married in the 80s, solid careers, 30-year mortgage, college for their kid, and yet the numbers never added up. They refinanced to breathe, then watched that breath get taxed by higher prices and surprise bills. The slide doesn't feel like a fall. It feels like we'll catch up next month, then next month, then never. In a minute, I'll show you the one number that decides whether you retire or work forever. First, the 4 weights that drag you there. Housing was supposed to mean stability. For the middle class, it's become a sinkhole. When a mortgage stretches into your 60s, you don't own the home owns you. Dave and Linda bought in 1985, expecting to be free by year 30. 2 refis later, they still owed $70K at retirement age. Meanwhile, prices detached from incomes and rents outran wages. If half your paycheck feeds your roof, you're not building equity, you're subsidizing the system. Get a degree, get ahead. Except the price of that degree tripled from the 1990s. And the payoff isn't guaranteed. Parents raid retirement, kids start in the red, boomers even carry rising balances. Dave and Linda opened their daughter's aid letter and cried, not with pride, with panic. A ladder can lift you if it isn't leaned against a wall of debt. Insurance should protect you. High deductibles and surprise costs turn it into a slow bleed. Dave slipped on the front steps and tore a rotator cuff. He skipped the ER because the copay felt like a car payment. He still can't lift his arm right. Even savers end up spending to stay alive. Prescriptions, dental, hearing, glasses, death by 1,000 copays. And the retirement healthcare estimate for a couple, most people don't even know the range until they're already paying it. Ask yourself, do you want to gamble your life on a program that's constantly under strain? Credit cards aren't tools, they're chains, especially at 20% plus interest. Plastic isn't for splurges anymore. It's for survival. Groceries, gas, utility bills, balances snowball and interest compounds, then profits flow to banks while families sink. If your balance feels normal, understand this. You're not living, you're delaying the fall. When these 4 weights stack, something breaks. And it's not just the budget, it's the finish line. We were promised a finish line at 65. Reality check, retirement isn't an age, it's a number. Hit the number, you stop working. Miss it, you don't. Today, more older Americans are clocking in, not because they want to, but because they can't afford not to. The median nest egg for pre-retirees, it doesn't support a 20 to 30 year life after work. Meanwhile, Key benefits face pressure that can mean smaller checks just as prices keep climbing. Here's the number I teased: net cash flow from assets. If your assets don't pay your bills, you keep paying your bills. With your time, your body, your 70-year-old knees, Dave should have retired 2 years ago. Instead, he's scanning barcodes on sore feet. Linda, same story. They're not outliers, they're normal. Is there any escape hatch left? There is, but it comes with a price most never consider. It's called Geo-Arbitrage, the idea that your dollar goes farther somewhere else. For some retirees, math that fails in one zip code finally works across a border. Linda joked, "What if we just left?" Then she learned how many retirees actually do, collecting Social Security abroad, stretching budgets in lower cost countries. It's not a magic bullet. You need mobility, health, and a plan. For Dave and Linda, it stayed a what if, which is the point, when the only way the dream works is by leaving the country you worked and paid taxes in. The dream changed. So what do you do if you can't or don't want to leave? Key 1, build assets early. Wages end, assets pay. Every dollar put to work, 401k, IRA, brokerage, even a small side asset, buys time later. Key 2, avoid toxic debt. Mortgages and student loans may be strategic. Credit card interest is acid. If you must borrow, borrow for what appreciates, never for survival. Key 3, redefine retirement. Stop treating 65 like a magic spell. Set a cash flow number. My assets cover X dollars per month. If that's $4,000 and you can reach it by 58, then 58 is your finish line. If it's 67, plan for 67. But plan. That one number isn't your birthday. It's assets covering bills. Hit it, and the shifts at dawn can finally stop. One night, Dave sat with a yellow legal pad with 2 columns. What we owe versus what we have. He stared at it, then crossed out a word he thought was guaranteed: retirement. I wish their story were rare. It isn't. But it's not a prophecy either. It's a warning. The rules changed. When you learn them, you can change your outcome. Build assets early, kill toxic debt, redefine the finish line by cash flow, not candles on a cake. You won't just save money, you'll buy back time. If you want more unfiltered looks at how money really works and how to beat the traps, subscribe and turn on notifications. And if this hit home, you'll want our deep dive on the bank run that blindsided Silicon Valley. See you there.